What's up, everyone? Welcome to the BDE Sports Talk Podcast, here to give you the latest scoop in the world of sports in the great state of Michigan and the great city of Detroit. This week, we discuss our initial thoughts on the show Receiver, give our top 10 toughest places to play in college football, and as always, the weekly Tigers update. I'm Bill, one of three co-hosts, along with the D&E of the BDE, Dean and Eddie. Fellas, looking good. Eddie, love the flag. Dean, how you doing?
Doing good. another week, another doing good. So we're doing good.
Always good, always positive.
Ready to go, man. Tigers are on a roll. Here come the World Series, baby.
I'm back on the train. Getting into this week's episode, Receiver. They came out yesterday. I did not get to watch all 8 episodes yet. Got through 2.
I watched 1.
So, yeah. I saw 5
right before
5.
Yeah,
I was watching while I was in bed, and I had to go to bed.
That was basically my evening.
So if you're listening or watching this, spoilers at least through the first 2.
Don't spoil 1. The second episode.
Yeah. Sorry.
I know. I don't know what happened during the season.
The second episode's whatever. At least for our podcast, right?
Oh, so, yeah.
I kind of. I mean,
if you notice, Dean, if you've noticed what was missed, what receivers were missed out of the first episode, you'll realize what the second episode is based around.
Yeah, for sure. I thought St. Brown would be in the second episode. I didn't even think he'd be in the first episode. That's how
spoilers
much disrespect I think he gets. Hey, he already said spoilers at the beginning through 1 episode. But yeah, I thought he'd be more involved in the second episode than the first episode. But
yeah, he was in the playoff players episode.
That's true.
The other 2 losers,
or the California guys. I mean, they're all in Cal. I mean, because he's from USC or whatever, from California.
Yeah. Well, initial thoughts, fellas. I mean, it's kind of. I mean, we'll as we get into more episodes, probably be something different, but it's pretty much everything that we've known if you're a Lions fan or an Amon-Ra fan, right? Knowing about him and, his chip on his shoulder with the list and him being able to list everything. We'll go with Dean first, since you watched 1 episode. What were your initial thoughts?
I mean, I'm always hyped for anything the Lions are a part of, but like you said, there's a lot of stuff I already knew, especially in the first episode. I'm not going to know much more than what I already do. His dad being Mr. Universe and, all that stuff. You kind of figured his dad was tough on him growing, you know what I mean? And you need to catch 202 balls and all that stuff. You know what I mean? So I really enjoyed it for the most part because I love sports docs in general. But, just seeing the Lions being just showcased.
Sports docs, like the medical professionals that take care of these guys?
Yes. Deep dive into the sports docs. Yeah. Real deep dive into physical therapy.
Massage that ACL, would you?
Did he use icy hot? Oh. But yeah, no, I enjoyed it overall. I'm excited to see what comes next. So
yeah, there's some stuff in there that I won't bring up. I think that I know we've seen this season, but there's stuff worth not mentioning for the sake of you having not seen it. I thought some of the stuff that happened was pretty cool. I mean, like I said, I watched the first 5 episodes. I've enjoyed it so far. All the guys are actually pretty cool. Devontae is probably more that type receiver, and I think you'll see more of that as it goes on. I mean, I get his frustration through that season, but you guys will see. Kittle, dude, he's just like a bro living the bro life, and I guess you'll see more of that. I think for him, I don't think his life could be much better. But maybe I feel jealous of him.
I got that from the 1 episode. I was like,
yeah, dude, I don't know what's gonna happen. He'll probably go to like the commentating booth because he's got a personality. But Yeah, I mean, he's living it up, dude. Debo's pretty chill. Jets, which that'll be the next episode. So like, I won't go much into that. Amon-Ra, I think he's a pretty relatable guy. Obviously, he's my favorite player on the team. Just one of those dudes that had to work his tail off. Keep loving seeing the insider stuff with the team. And I had read something about where the NFL Films crew is like really falling in love with the organization after being there for Hard Knocks and then for this season of receiver and whatever. And they're not supposed to cheer for people, but a lot of them are like cheering for the Lions. They like the people and who they're around, and they're like, it's just a good group of people and all that stuff. So that was cool. But the one take that I came away with kind of, I think if it wasn't for Devontae's like diva-ness, I think Amon-Ra would probably be the least liked guy on the show, just based on what I've seen so far. And I guess you'll just have to watch more of it. I love the guy, and I think about like Kirk Cousins last year on QB, where like Bill was like, oh, actually I really liked him, that kind of thing. So I think it may be my perception is probably the part that's off. Because like I was like, oh, I thought Kirk was pretty cool. Not cool, but like he was who I thought he was before. And then I saw him and I was like, oh, he's lamer than I thought. Right. But people thought he was crazy lame. And then like, oh, he's not that bad of a dude, that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
But when they talked about Amon-Ra's celebration pumps, that was in the first episode, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Dude, I was laughing so hard. And then they brought the Key and Peele sketch up.
Yeah, when they brought Dan Campbell on,
Dan Campbell,
he's like, one more pump.
He didn't say it. It was like, yeah, we found the pump line. Okay, so he's looking at so many pumps.
Yeah, and then he laughed
for a celebration.
Yeah, that was great.
I love how Amon-Ra's dad blamed his girlfriend. She's like,
I think the more you watch. I'm like, that was one takeaway I have is I'm pretty sure his dad does not like his girlfriend. Like it's a joking situation, but I think considering the way he was raised, I think there was a controlling aspect. And I think having lost some of that, I think he probably puts it on the girlfriend, which is probably, 50-50,
It's probably one of those things where it takes away from his focus. Like that's what his dad thinks.
That's what he can use for like his excuse. But I think it's definitely a control thing.
Yeah.
But whatever. I'm sure their family's great and they enjoy each other all the time. But I think the more you see, I'm like, I really don't think the dad likes her at all. But you'll just have to watch. He doesn't do anything crazy. I think you just have to really pay attention. But yeah, I've enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, Dean, you don't really care. I mean, if we talk about Justin Jefferson for a second,
no, not at all.
How did you feel after watching that episode? Just Justin Jefferson. I get what you're saying about Devontae Adams. I started seeing that in that episode. I'm like, yeah
Jets, dude. I'll be honest, I like him more than I did before the show.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. I really do. I mean, it's not like I was like a hater on him, but like he's on a rival team and he's the best receiver in the league. So you're like, or arguably the best receiver, but I think most people feel that way. But I watched it, I'm like, and the one thing I had about him was just like, I understand him, but he is just like such on another level of like where he's at. I tried to like get like, I laughed because he was putting on, he was doing the jewelry thing. He's like, well, first you got to put on these 2 Cubans. They're these huge diamond Cubans. And I was like, oh, damn. And then he's like, but this really ties it all together. And it's just another huge chain. That's this jet. He's like, this jet. And I looked, I was like, yeah, that really ties it together. Like, I'm not gonna love it. I think when you're like that special, you have to have, I feel like for somebody like that, like you have to have something that's like achievable, that's also great. I think that's I don't know. Like I'm trying to like rationalize how he's views things because he is so like I love Amon Ra, but he's got to work his ass off to be what he is,
Right.
which is one of the best. All right, no doubt about it. But Jets is like
Just natural.
the dude, you know. I mean,
Right.
he's
Yeah.
you just watch him walk in. The confidence is real. You know, I can't imagine being that good at something. So it's like
Right.
that's the one guy I have a hard time understanding. I think watching it, I get him, but it's like I just don't want to believe I could understand actually, because he
Right.
just seems on a different level. You know, guys like that. I don't know. Maybe I put too much on it just by watching a few episodes of that. But I'm like, I felt that way about a few people over time, and he's just one of those dudes. What'd you think about it?
Yeah, and my takeaway with him was like the confidence is justified. You know what I mean? And but the thing is, it's just only when he's on camera. It's only when it's game day, right?
Mhm.
Like that's when he puts the jewelry on. That's when he builds that confidence in himself. And then like if you look at his house just based on what they've shown, it's
Yeah,
really not much.
like a
Like
normal,
just
pretty
a
normal
normal
place.
cul-de-sac house, and you know what I mean? And just then you look at Devontae Adams' house and it's got like the sweet pool and everything else. And
Yeah,
I mean that's mostly NFL players anyway, but it just seems like he said, I mean, he even said it in that episode. He was like, you know, I don't spend my money on a lot, but jewelry is what, you know, is what I love and whatnot. And
well,
could you
that's
imagine, Ed, you got good at cornhole and like you just had a cornhole?
nobody can make that much money playing cornhole.
I don't think
Nobody can
Bush's
do it.
baked beans.
No,
is handing
Bushes
out
ain't got
money.
that kind of money, dude.
Pull the
That
car
was what I
around.
was thinking
Throws the-
watching that because I'm like, he knows he could buy the Devontae mansion. He knows he could have whatever. But it's like, you know, that jewelry is just crazy
Probably the same
expensive.
amount as the
And
house.
probably, dude.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's the one thing that I think his personality mixed with whatever he was brought up with, it's just like that's a big deal. And it, like, dude, I was worried for him having him show the jewelry he has, because I'm like, dude, somebody's gonna try and freaking rob your
That's
place.
the first thing I thought.
Yeah.
This whole big old just case of insane.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's obviously the thing he loves the most. So good on him.
Yeah.
I pretty much had the same thing. George Kittle just seems like a good dude, a bro that, you know, I mean, I'm not one. His wife kind of annoyed me just a little bit. But that's just
She
I don't
did
know.
until they, you know, like that was another thing that I appreciated about the women in these guys' lives, is a lot of them have been around for quite some time.
Right.
And
And it
she was a
wasn't
basketball player at Iowa.
right.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's cool.
Makes sense.
And it's not like I was annoyed by her when they were like on their personal time, but just like the game day and like everybody get on the bus and
I was
you know,
at the beginning until I found out their backstory and that she was a basketball. So she's like got that competitive. Like you
Right,
gotta be even to
right.
be D1 Iowa women's basketball player. You know, you got that. You at least got to have that hard competitive,
Right.
athletic, you know, presence kind of feel. And I think so. I was like, okay, I get it more now. It's not like Brittany Mahomes.
Right, exactly. And
You
that
know?
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like after the episode was done, I was like, yeah, she's not that bad. You know, and it may have even been like how they filmed her too. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
It just
Ask me after we're done recording what my actual initial thought of her was, because I can tell you exactly what I thought, but it's not appropriate for the pod.
the one thing that did stick out for me with Amon-Ra was the dude had 5 catches for 56 yards and a TD with a oblique torn off the bone.
Was that in the first episode?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't want to bring that up. Yeah.
And then Devontae Adams with the AC joint. It just
Whoa.
it just it just goes to show like these dudes are just on another level.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? Like just on another level. I wrote Devontae Adams. Jimmy Garoppolo did not help him at all. All those touchdown passes, completions just were so bad. I think he threw one good ball in that whole episode.
You have to keep watching.
It gets worse.
I'm
assuming it gets worse.
Yeah.
So
well, by then they hadn't even played Detroit yet, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, we will not spoil it for Dean. I don't want to spoil any more for Dean.
I'll have it fully watched by
next week.
Tonight.
Yeah, sure.
Just rage watching the rest of the receiver.
Just don't go to bed.
So, I said these guys are warriors and whatnot. Speaking of elite players, is this year's just a question I wanted to ask you guys. Is this year's men's basketball team for the Olympics better than the Dream Team? Do you guys feel that, or because I've seen the debate on it and it's mostly lopsided.
I'm sure
it's mostly lopsided one way, but I wanted to get your guys' take on it.
Do I think they're better than the Dream Team? I mean, that's hard to say. I mean, obviously, the thing with the Dream Team was that it was the first time that, NBA players could be in the Olympics, and that's what made it so special. This is just another, another super team that the USA has put together. I mean, they're sweet. I don't know. I would say no, but I mean, that's not based really on anything. That's just me just guessing. It'd be like a coin flip, I think, in my head, depending on what the rules were and, how they were playing. But I guess I would say the Dream Team would probably win if they were to go against each other. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think athlete to athlete, this year's team is probably better. It's hard to say because the Dream Team never had to play the type of international players that we see today. So if this year's team handles other teams the way the Dream Team did, then I'd say this year's team wins. But then again, they played Canada within 12 points today. But Canada also has Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. I mean, who did they play back then? I'm not really sure. I'd really need to see this year's team play because the Dream Team played really well together, but it was a different brand of basketball. I don't trust John Stockton to guard Steph Curry from damn near the logo. You know what I'm saying? Where they're popping up out there. But, Malone, Barkley, Robinson, Ewing, they're standing on business in the paint. They're going to get all the boards and all the putbacks. So, in general, if the game was played 10 times, I give it to the Dream Team to win 6. But, this year's team wins if the 3 ball is hitting because they hit that shot from everywhere on the court. Durant, Steph, Booker,
True.
Anthony Edwards. LeBron, even at his age, probably the best all-around player on the court, considering his athleticism. So right now, I'll give it to the Dream Team. But I mean, after the Olympics, if they kind of just run through people in general, then I feel like I'd have to give it to them, to this year's team. That's a big collection, even without Kawhi.
Right, and that's what I was gonna say. That it's just a different set of. Like you said, just these guys are playing NBA international players, right? It's more commonplace now than it was in 92. You know,
Yeah.
they're not playing it. So, I mean, this team's really good. I mean, just the collective, you know what I mean? I mean, obviously the dream team was great as well, but I'm with you. I think they played 10 times. It's almost half and half. 5-5. A lot of people, when I said lopsided, they're like, there's no way this team is better than the dream team. And I mean, you know, it is what it is. I mean, there's like 10, 11 Hall of Famers on
And
that squad.
It was a special thing too. You know what I mean? That's what makes it so like, oh, would they have? It's like, well, athletically, probably not. But you know, as an overall basketball,
I mean, nobody's driving in the paint on the dream team, man. I mean,
100%.
thinking about those dudes in there, but you know, it's a different game. So a lot of these
Completely
guys
different.
are popping. You know, I mean, you're gonna have who was I talking about? Freaking Malone trying to guard Durant out at the 3. You know, I mean, Durant probably do him up out there.
Oh yeah.
You know, so it's like, I don't know, it's just a different game. But I guess we'll see. I think all you can do is compare it to how they've played against who they've played, and if this year's team does pretty well against everybody, then it's like, yeah, maybe they probably could.
Right.
You know, there's only one Jordan on the dream team, man. I mean,
He's a cheater.
Right.
Cheater.
He had inflated stats, bro. Did you not see that?
He was on steroids. No, what? No, I didn't see that.
Oh, and his like, I think it was obviously one of his MVP seasons that he won like the defensive player of the year as well. At his home games, they were inflating his steals. So like he would have like more steals than the other team had turnovers. So if the team had 7 turnovers, he'd have like 8 steals or whatever it was. It was pretty wild. You have to look into that. It's actually, and then like if you look at like his home like stats of the season compared to his away stats, like it's just like insane. Like, is he that much better at home that he's getting 4 steals a game at home and only 1.5 or 2 on the road? Like, I mean, it's not like a crazy, but they inflated his numbers, is what they're saying. That's a theory. You know me.
You
That's
sure
so
this
sweet.
isn't just a conspiracy theory?
No, that's actually, there's a lot of like weight to that. There's a lot of weight.
Do you know what's real and what isn't anymore?
Check us out on Wake Up with the Sleeper Boys podcast.
Yeah.
Quick plug.
I believe you. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Check it out. Do it.
I didn't have a good segue this. Next up, we have I don't know. This is
right.
weird. I don't know. Top 10 toughest places to play in college football. As most of you will know by the time you listen to this, if you pre-ordered as early access for College Football 25, that's going to be coming out on all your, I don't know, Xbox, PS5. And EA had come out with a list of the top 25, I believe it was. I'll pull it up. Top 25 toughest places to play in college football. And I saw some discrepancies in there. And we kind of talked about it in our text. Real quick, I'll just go over the top 10 that they have here. Actually, the top 16. Texas A&M number 1, Bryant-Denny Stadium, Alabama 2, Tiger Stadium, LSU 3, Ohio State, Georgia, Penn State number 6, Wisconsin, Oklahoma, Florida State, Florida, Oregon, Clemson, Tennessee, Auburn, South Carolina, and to round out the top 16, Michigan.
Why don't you do the top 23?
Yes, we will. Virginia Tech, Utah, Texas, Iowa, Notre Dame, and at 22, Spartan Stadium, Michigan State.
I was a little surprised by that, to be honest with you.
What?
That they were so high?
That they just put him on. That they just put him on the list.
That tells you something about it. have coming off a season they have, that they're still able to have that on there. Anyway,
Yeah.
you have another
Yeah,
4-8. It's not going to be on there anymore.
well, and that's I'm glad you said that, because I feel like it wasn't based on recent events. Okay. Spartan Stadium, during D'Antonio's era, dude, that place was rocking. Night
Dude.
games were, and coming from
2021,
Michigan, rocking. But
the
then you
woodshed.
look at, and then you look at this year, and and it's no different than like when Michigan wasn't good. You know what I mean? When they were giving out free tickets with 20-ounce Pepsi or whatever it was. When you're not good, people don't show up.
There were still top 20 attendance in the country.
Michigan State.
Yeah.
Damn
that's, we're the forgotten kids around here because Michigan and Ohio State, Notre Dame being all around, but it's one of those things.
Yeah. No, I give credit where credit's due. I'd like to get your guys' top 10. And obviously, we already talked about this last night. I had a problem with Michigan being number 16. And it's not, Eddie, I'll just let you, because I know you'll probably say it. So, Dean, you want to start with your top 10?
Do you want me to start from 10 and go down, or start at 1?
Start at 10.
Start at 10. Okay. Do you want me to just say the team name, or do you want me to say the stadium name?
No, you can say a team name. It's fine.
I think whichever.
Yeah.
Okay. So my list is based on another list that I found that from the 2024 season, and some of like my own like nostalgic from too far back. So at number 10, I've got Clemson Memorial Stadium. 9, I've got Penn State Beaver Stadium. I got the Horseshoe at 8. Then I put the Big House at 7 to appease Bill. And then I got Ben Griffin Stadium, Florida, the Swamp. 5, Doak S. Campbell, Florida State. 4, Sanford Stadium, Georgia. I put Kyle Field, Texas A&M at 3. Then Bryant Denny Stadium, Alabama. And then I put LSU, Tiger Stadium at number 1. Who caused a Richter scale this year on one of their extra points of their 2-point conversions this year. That was my top 10.
Yeah, that's a good list. I think mine, I do a lot. This one I based probably, I weighted noise pretty heavy, even though I did put Michigan in here. But number 10, I put the Swamp, Florida. It's got the name, the Gator Clap, 88,000 people. They've reached 115,000 or 115 decibel level. That's pretty solid. Autzen Stadium, Oregon, number 9. Not an intimidating place to play, but they get loud, man. 60,000 person stadium. They've reached 127 dB before. Number 8, I put Michigan. We discussed it before on our text. And it's the noise. I think it kind of plays against them. Like I said in our text, that the one thing that makes them unique in that stadium is also kind of what works against them, because if you have 110,000 people, you expect it to be much louder, but the acoustics of the stadium aren't there. It was 100 dB for a long time. They put up the new press boxes, got up to 110 dB. And I wanted to compare it just to put it out there, because it's like Money in the Bank was just last weekend at Scotiabank Arena, and their dB levels, they were showing them during the time, was between like 97 and 104, and there's only 20,000 people in that stadium. You know what I'm saying? So Michigan gets up to 110. Now, granted, 110 is very loud in a general sense, but just it's the acoustics that hinders Michigan.
You think the outdoor stadium kind of affects that too?
Well, of course it does. Yeah. I mean, because noise needs something to bounce off of is
Right.
basically what it is. So when they added the press boxes, it gave it a little extra something to contain the noise. But since they're so wide open bowl, it makes it tough. Number 7, I put Beaver Stadium, the whiteouts, the passionate crowd. They've been recorded at 122 decibels. 6, Camp Randall, another passionate crowd. They got the jump around. They've been recorded at 106 with only 75,000 people. It always feels like a tough place to have to go in. Ohio Stadium, I put at 5. It's the shoe. They don't record DB from what I've researched, but historically one of the hardest places to play. I put Clemson at 4, higher than I thought I'd put them, but when they're good, they're loud. 86,000 people. They've recorded a decibel level 132.8 before. Bama, it's all of it. The history, the team, the crowd. 85,000 people that get up to 132.8 dB also. A&M, I put at number 2. From what I hear, it's the only show in town down at A&M, man. Nothing else but football. They say it's like a crazy fortress or complex when you're trying to go to that game. It's the 12th man. They've gotten up to 126 decibel. And I also put LSU at number 1. I think it's just different in the Bayou. People are different. The team for the last 30 years has always been super talented. And they've gotten as loud as 130 dB on 100,000 people. So that's my list. Oh, and honorable mention, Kelly Shorts. Like it's way up there.
I agree. I can hear myself think in that place.
They've gotten up to
extra leg room.
dB, I'm pretty sure.
All that extra leg.
All these extra open seats.
The sound just bounces off of them.
It's just ringing through these bleachers.
Let me see here.
I would say Spartan Stadium in their heyday is the top 15.
Yeah. I wanted to put them on as a joke, but I was like,
I mean,
realistically, that's not my number 10.
If you're winning 4 or 5 games and you're at 22nd, I mean, you're probably top 15 when you're a 9-10 win team. Yeah.
So mine is more recency bias, I guess. I had honorable mention Utah. They're 18-1 at home. Florida State, I had it number 10 just because, and it's a little bit of like nostalgia and what I've watched and whatnot. I mean, the whole game, they're just doing the war chant and just, I mean, it's nonstop. They just don't stop. Number 9, I had the Swamp for the same exact thing. I mean, they're just chomping the whole time. Number 8, I had Ohio State. They have 2 losses in the last couple of years. Just saying. Number 7, I had Oregon. They're 19-1 at home. Their only loss was to Washington. That's in the last 3 years. Sorry, these are in the last 3 years. What was that, number 7?
Yeah.
Number 6, I had.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, yeah.
You're going off wins in the last 3 years.
Yep. Number 6, I had Texas A&M. They're 10-5 in the last 2 years at home. Where are we at? Number 5?
Yeah.
Number 5 or number 4? I had Beaver Stadium at Penn State. The whiteout is just something different. And a lot of Texas A&M, yeah, it's loud, but I mean, 10-5 at home, just like.
I mean, for them, they haven't had the most talented teams, especially in the SEC, in the last 3 years, and yet they're still 10-5 at home.
Other than Johnny,
like
Manziel.
I said, I think that's like almost a creepy place to play, which gives it its own like aura, which I think gives it that, and then that's all the people have to look forward to.
Right.
around there. Anyway,
But I mean, when we're talking about tough place to play, 5 losses, whatever. Just saying. We'll move on to number 4. I had Alabama. They are 20-1 in their last 3. Their only losses to Texas.
We know where this is going.
Heard Tuscaloosa is a good time. Number 3, Georgia. They're undefeated. In their last 3 years, they're 19-0. At number 2, I have LSU. No, I'm just kidding. I have Michigan at number 2.
oh wow,
Oh, I thought you were going all the way.
you might as well have at that point.
110,000 plus every week. Defending national champions. They've beaten Ohio State at the Big House 22-0. I mean, it's debatable what some of those wins are in that 22, but it is 22-0.
It is 22-0.
It is still
undeniable.
22-0. Actually, I watched a couple other videos that were doing reactions to that, and they actually had Michigan. Quite a few had Michigan in the top 3, just based on them being undefeated in the last 3 years, which is something. I mean, you know,
Is that on GoBlue.com? I was watching the vids.
Wolverine fans.
Picard did his top 10.
Wolverine Gazette or something.
No, one of them was an Ohio State fan. I think they had him at number 3. He's and then number 1 LSU. I mean, they're 18-3, but man, that place goes nuts.
Mhm.
It just, I think we all. I mean, obviously we agreed. It's just different. Something there is just. I don't know. I don't know if it's just being in the bayou, that Louisiana flavor, man, and they got all
I'd
the
love to
talented
go.
guys, and it'd be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. SEC football.
No, I don't care about SEC football,
I
but
mean, it said it's the closest you get to the to the pros, right? Is SEC. Besides
Blake
going to the
Corum,
pros.
not a running back in the NFL right now, Dean.
have you heard the name J.J. McCarthy?
Don't get much closer than that.
So yeah, I kind of figure. I mean, a lot of people had LSU at number 1. So, and it's, you know, Eddie, you described it perfectly. So
It's no Michigan Stadium, but
I put them at number 1.
no, just
And Michigan won. We're laughing about it, but you are right. I mean, it's not a loud stadium, and that's just the stadium. You know what I mean? And it can be some of the fans too. That's coming from Michigan fans.
to be fair, it is loud. It's just not as loud as you feel like it should be, especially down on the field, because obviously heat, noise, all that rises. Nothing is there to block that in. And so it's not as loud. If they could put up something around there to like less open bowl, it would be incredibly loud and almost unquestionably number 1. Because I mean, the people, it's not like the people aren't into it. It's not like it's the crowd. Like,
Well, it depends.
The Michigan fans are very
Boisterous.
Boisterous. They'll let you know at the meat aisle in Walmart who's the champs. All right.
Another honorable mention is Notre Dame, just because of their
Nah,
history and.
I hear it's quiet,
touchdown
dude.
Jesus, really?
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like I watched a primetime game.
I
where it
hear
was
that.
pretty loud.
It's like one of those that's also like it's not as crazy as it could be, but it's also like one of the bucket list places to go. So like, don't go there just because you think it's going to be a crazy time at the game, but go there because it's like just take in like one of the special places of football history.
Right.
That kind of thing.
That would be a pretty cool place to go to as well.
Yeah, that would be cool. And Michigan State renewing that's what happens with State and Notre Dame. The last time Notre Dame renewed that rivalry, we were bad. and then we got good, and then they didn't want to renew the rivalry, and then now that we're down right now, they want to renew that back home and homes or whatever. So I hope we're good enough by the time we play them again, just to stick it to them, dude. I freaking hate Notre Dame.
Me too. So, all right, good list, you guys. Dean, we kind of talked about it. You're getting the game, Eddie. You think about getting the game?
Yeah, I think I will. I
Online
thought about
Dynasty.
waiting a couple days because I feel like the first release right away, people are usually like, "Oh, there's some glitches. Wait for updates." But I don't think I'm gonna wait very long. I might give it a week before I crack. I think that's the latest I'll go.
Right.
I'm gonna get the early access.
I was thinking about it, man. I was thinking about the early access one. I'm like, you don't need to. I'm not gonna like take a day off of work, although I thought about it. Really did.
Too, but
I might be sick that day.
Be the
all of
defensive
us
coordinator at State, get a head coach job at CMU from there. Because you can go on to start Dynasty as an assistant coach.
That's sweet.
Yeah, as a
Yeah.
coordinator.
I like
Yeah.
the surprise.
That's what I'm doing for sure.
I mean, why not, dude? Right? Like that's cool.
Yeah.
I want to be Michigan State's offensive coordinator and just chiles it up all over Michigan. 84-0.
I love seeing those
revenge
memes where they're
video
like,
game
was upset. I had to
those-
take it out on him.
The heavy
Those little-
breathing.
yeah, those videos. Like the Lions will lose to the the Packers or something.
It's 200 to
Yes.
6.
It's 200 is like you just keep scoring.
We'll make it a 20-minute quarter or 20-minute quarters
Yeah. Run the
on
score.
amateur level or whatever. I don't know.
If you can, I said this to Dean, but if you get some time, go on YouTube and go to EA College Football, the channel, and watch the gameplay. Because the gameplay looks sweet. Like they had shameless plug, Donovan Edwards was playing some dude, and
I saw some clip of him scoring a touchdown with himself.
Yeah, he scored a ton of himself.
I'm sure.
But it's just faster. I mean, it's just a fast-paced. It looked like a fast-paced game, which is different from what Madden has been.
Say Madden's been just like I feel like I always end up having to uninstall Madden. You can only get so far, it feels like, before it just starts messing up. At least the last couple years.
I've just been playing people online.
Oh, well, I don't usually do that.
Yeah, I usually play franchise mode. Now, I used to play people online.
College football will definitely be playing Dynasty. We should get a Dynasty going.
Dude, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
we can.
Yeah,
that's as long as it's within Xbox. Well, we can talk about this later. Anyways,
if anybody else wants to get in on this Dynasty,
yeah,
that'd be cool.
100.
You can do a little BD Sports Talk podcast Dynasty action.
Yeah,
120 users. It's gonna take forever. Line up your schedule to play each other, though. You have to. When are you available,
set some
bro?
rules. You got 4 days. You got 4 days to play your game.
It's gonna take forever to get through a season.
No, you're not getting 100. We don't even get 120 views.
Yeah,
we might now.
Winner gets a $50 gift certificate. How about that?
To a Tobo Boy.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I'm just saying to people from wherever. They're like,
yeah.
Well, I
mean, we might have to make it like a Visa vanilla gift card.
No, it's an Adobo Boy gift card. Official sponsors of the BD Sports Talk podcast.
For sure. Weekly Tigers update. The Weekly Tigers update is brought to you by Adobo Boy. Adobo Boy is the official sponsor of the BD Sports Talk podcast. As you know, Dean, Eddie, and myself are proud Filipinos who love a good Filipino meal. Adobo Boy delivers just that with their amazing food and vibes that are unmatched in the food industry. Not only do they have delicious food, they also go against the grain of a traditional restaurant and tinker with their menu to bring you an amazing variety of Filipino cuisine. Their menu rotates weekly, so there's always a reason to come back to try more authentic Filipino food. But Dean, let us know what that iconic Filipino dish is and what is in it.
First, I thought you were going to segue earlier with the Elite Warriors into Adobo Boy, but that would have been the
I
moment.
should have.
But it's braised pork in soy sauce and vinegar, or tender pork braised in soy sauce and vinegar, on a bed of rice with cucumber, Jackie's achar, papaya salad, and a fried egg on top. It's definitely worth going down there and checking it out. Buy two, mix one up. Don't mix it up. Eat it separately, like Ace recommends it.
Yeah, but think about how
Yeah.
decadent that bite would be straight through with all that stuff.
It's not. The only thing you need to mix is the egg, pork, and rice. But try it both ways. Buy two.
I like it. I like it. So, if you are into trying new and different food or would just like some amazing adobo and vibes, stop into Adobo Boy, where owners Ace, Jackie, and Red are amazing people who genuinely care about your experience there. Eddie, give them the pillars right
The
now.
pillars, baby. Got to give the people the pillars because that's what they want. I mean, there's three pillars there. The first one is you walk in, you're gonna feel the ambiance of the place. You're gonna get the vibes, man. You're gonna get the smells. You're gonna see the happy people. You're gonna be feeling it. You're gonna walk up. You're gonna order your food. The second pillar, the amazing food. It's so good. It's so good. You're gonna enjoy pretty much anything you order there, and then on top of that, you get 5% off just by saying BDE Sports Talk Podcast at the register. 5% off on amazing food in a grazing amazing atmosphere by saying BDE Sports Talk Podcast. 5% off BDE Sports Talk Podcast on amazing food, amazing vibes. You're going to have a great time and you're going to enjoy your meal. You'll be back again. And all you got to say the next time, BDE Sports Talk Podcast, you get another 5% off.
Every time you go in. And if you want that 5% off, Adobo Boy is open Tuesday to Friday, 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. for lunch and 5 to 7:30 for dinner. On Saturday, 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. for lunch and 5 to 8:30 for dinner. Adobo Boy is located at 3740 28th Street Southeast, Kentwood, Michigan, and is inside the amazing Myanmar restaurant along with brunch and rice. Adobo Boy is right in the middle. So get there, get fed, get happy. It is always better at Adobo Boy. So, don't look now, but the Tigers have won 6 of 8 since last week's recording. 8
might
of
be
their last
7 of 8.
11. It's 6 of 8.
Is it?
Yeah.
All right. You know, I don't. All right.
They
I thought it was
lost
7.
What from our recording? From our recording.
Oh, from our recording.
Yeah. They've won 8 of their last 11. Swept the Reds, took 3 of 4 from the Indians with a 10-1 win today. Now 13 back and 6.5 back of the last wild card spot. Fellas, we're back. We are back. Playoff baseball. Get ready. The Motor Cities are coming. No.
I mean, you never know. I mean, sweeping the Guardians is a good start. I mean, the team in leading the division or right now, but can they sustain it? I don't know. We'll see. I mean, if anything, right now, Flaherty and Olsen just look like, well, maybe not Olsen, but Flaherty definitely looks like a shiny trade chip for them if they want to get rid of him. Which I don't know. If they continue to win, though, do you think they stay put? Like, does this change like their trade deadline plans? If they let's say, because they got the Dodgers. Well, by the time people hear this, they will have already played the Dodgers and the Blue Jays, and then be playing the Guardians again. But if let's say they win, 2 games out of each series, do you think they change their deadline plans?
By all indications, probably not. I mean, they don't spend money anyway. I mean, they'd really have to. I mean, they're still 13 back. Like, you know what
In
I
the
mean?
division.
It's still, yeah, in the division.
In the division.
What, 6.5 just for the wild card?
6.5.
Based
Yeah,
on the
for the
win
last
today.
wild card
Yeah,
spot.
6.5.
I mean, they might. I don't know. I still think they trade Flaherty. I think you should.
Especially after today.
Yeah. You know, you don't want to get stuck after the All-Star break losing 10 of your first 12 and then, you know, you traded for nobody. I mean, they're still putting Javi Baez out there. I mean, they made a rush to get him back up. I don't I don't know.
He had 2 walks.
Well, did you see the pitcher today at all? I don't know if you guys were able to watch, but that kid was either blistering fastballs on the black of the plate or they weren't even close. So I think Javi goes up there like, just don't swing. Just don't swing, man. I mean,
Just stand there. Stand there. It better be a meatball.
He reminded me of Wild Thing from frickin' Major League, the movie. The kid was either blistering them down there or it was just way off. You know, I don't know, man. I don't think they change right now because you think we have 69 games left. You would think we've probably got to have 88 wins just to make the playoffs. Right? So we'd have to. Do you think this team is capable of going 43-26 the rest of the way out?
No.
That's a tough mark. That's a tough mark to hit. I mean, sure, it's possible.
Yeah.
But it's like now is the time. Okay, Flaherty had another great start after potential back issues. So now's either the time to actually ship him off, or if you really feel serious about it, re-sign him. Re-sign him. I mean, if you want people to buy in, be like, okay, so now we're just investing. Okay, maybe make a move. I don't know what that move is because the moves we should have made are gone. From previous, during earlier in the season. I mean, I've talked about it a bunch of times, man. I go back to the draft, like Max Clark. He could be a stud 3 years from now. You know, I mean, and hopefully,
maybe sooner. You never know.
It maybe, but if we had taken Langford, like everyone thought we should, a guy that projected to us, we'd have another guy that is currently hitting over 60, 731 OPS. The kid's hot, dude. He's hitting over 1,000 OPS in the last month. I mixed that mistake, right? Okay, because we don't really know what Max Clark's going to be. With last year's trade deadline with Erod, signing Maeda to 2 years, Flaherty to only 1. Obviously, that should at minimum be reversed. Giving Canna $12.5 million when other guys were out there. I mean, I know Scott Harris is like crazy book smart. He was like supposed to be a Mensa guy or whatever. But it's not all adding up to me yet. It just isn't. There was another guy in town who was crazy book smart leading a franchise that turned out to be a fraud. Former rocket science turned football coach Matt Patricia. I mean, I'm not completely out on Harris yet, but the decisions have started to pile up, and it makes me nervous because it feels like a base of potential and opportunity is here, and I keep seeing missteps, and maybe they're intentional, like not bringing somebody in. But dude, so there's some numbers run. I don't have them written down, but I've heard them. Like 43-26, right? What I said is what they would need to go to get 88 wins. That is basically what their record would be if they could have scored 2 runs or more in pretty much most of the games this year. Like, it is doable. But you had to have gotten that bat before or getting that bat now. So, like, Could
Colt
it
Keith's
happen?
turning it around. He's turning it
Colt
around.
Keith is hot right now. But you can't count on that. They're going to regress to the mean, to their mean. Colt Keith might be a stud and he might keep going, but is Winslow Perez going to keep going? Gio Urshela had a day today. Maybe he's feeling it right now. You just got to have somebody else in there, a legitimate bat. Matt Vierling's not going to hit home run every time he goes out there.
Right.
Zach McKinstry isn't going to do that every time he's out there. We could go on and on. Akil Baddoo. This feels like 2021 or 22 to me, where it's like, oh, maybe this could happen, where they had Jonathan Scope and Jamer Candelario. And I think Akil Baddoo was doing it up right then too, and it was just like, okay, we'll see what happens next year. But those guys just ended up being who they were.
Yeah.
So the team is there. If we could have just went out and got somebody before the season, or had drafted Wyatt Langford, who's hitting as a legitimate MLB batter right now, we would be in a position to be buying anyway.
Right.
And that's what bothers me moving forward. Harris might be too smart for his own good. He might be trying to do Moneyball while also having the ability to have big money. And sometimes that doesn't add up. Dave Dombrowski, nobody said that kid was in Mensa. Nobody said he is the genius of all geniuses. You know what he did? He saw the best players and he was like, we need to spend all the money to get these guys. Or what does it take to get these guys? And yeah, we hemorrhaged our farm system for some of that, but I'll be damned if that wasn't a sweet piece of time to be a Tigers fan.
No kidding.
So I guess I said a lot for nothing. Did not say much, but I just want
usual.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's kind of my thing. I'm worried about what could happen, and if they're serious, then show us serious. Show us that you re-sign Flaherty for another year. It doesn't have to be during the season because that doesn't really happen. Right. But go out and get somebody. 43 and 26, that is doable, but that is going to be hard to do.
Yeah.
So,
take a lot of luck.
Capitalize while the iron's hot. Javi's not getting it done. Get another shortstop.
Yeah, no kidding. Sell him for a pop machine. Trade him for a pop machine.
Dude, if Javi's in our lineup, then we're obviously not taking it that serious.
Exactly. It amazes me.
Sell them. Get something for what we got.
Yeah.
Get a Gatorade machine for Javi.
Yeah, dude. Anything. A little morale boost.
You're telling me no one wants to take him?
Get another Little Caesars thing,
An empanada chef.
Probably no one wants.
I don't know.
Honestly, he's like
nobody wants that.
Worst player in the league.
Nobody's taking Javi.
Nobody. They won't give us anything for him.
We would have to at least pay half his contract, which would probably be worth it
at this point.
Yeah, I agree. Also, Dean brought it up this week. They start tomorrow which is Friday, the Dodgers for 3 games. Then they go to Toronto, and then they have 4 against Cleveland in Cleveland. So, good luck to those guys. 42 wins to go, right? We said 42.
So that's the number.
That's the magic number. 42.
43 wins.
43 wins.
They got to go 43 and 26 to get to 88 wins. From this moment. At this moment, they have 69 games left. Nice. But 43 and 26. That's what they got to go.
All right. Magic number 43, Scott Harris.
I mean, the other team's got to lose too. What if the other teams win 43 as well?
I mean, that's the thing. We're 4th in our own division.
Right.
Like, it's tough enough just to catch up in our own division, let alone the wild card. So if you're serious, you got to take it actually serious. If not, get something
gotta
for
do it
Flaherty
soon.
now.
Yeah. Yeah, do it soon.
Either way. So, all right. Well, let's get out of here. Thank you, everyone, for watching this week's episode and all the episodes before. If you liked what you watched or heard,
If you
be
like
sure
what you
to
see.
if you like what you see, be sure to like the video. Hit us up with a comment. Let us know if you want to get in the BD Dynasty on College Football 25. Or give us your top 10, top 25 place tough, or top 10 tough places to play. Check out last week's episode. That's below me and next to Eddie. Hit the logo next under Dean. That's next to Eddie to subscribe. If you're listening, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Yeah, anything, it helps out the channel at this point. We could use everybody, please. So, anyways, just kidding. Thank you everyone for watching or listening. For Dean Eddie, this is Bill saying everyone have a great week and see you next time on the BDE Sports Talk Podcast.
Sports Talk.